Hey guys, today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the minimum wage and why increasing it is a really bad idea. If you like the video, please feel free to like it. You can always comment, and if you've got an opinion on everything and you want to talk to me a little bit about it, feel free to ask any questions in the comment section. I will try and get back to everyone that I can. Anyway, so yes, minimum wage, raising it is a bad idea. Okay, so why would this be when the biggest argument which is always thrown against me is it's a way to counter inflation. Now, this isn't strictly true because actually raising the minimum wage increases inflation, but we're going to get to that at some point later on in the video. Now, let's have a little look at our taxes. Now, in the United Kingdom, we can earn £12,500 before tax, which is a nice amount of money. I'm very, very happy with this amount of money. And so if I'm working, say, 36 hours a week and doing a full-time job, I'm going to have to pay a little bit of tax at the end of the year. Now, once you increase the minimum wage, I'm going to have to pay a higher percentage of my actual earnings in tax. So we're going to take this, and we're going to throw it to one side. So basically what's going to happen is when we hit that 12,500 and we go above it, if you increase the minimum wage, if we're working the same amount in a year, you're going to earn more money, which means you're going to have a high percentage of your natural income is taxed. So we've got that as a problem. But you're still earning more money, so that's a good thing, right? Well, technically, no, it's not. I mean, if you look at any employer, and the thing is, an employer has to be very, very selective over who they employ nowadays, because why employ someone with a lower level skill set when it comes to the minimum wage, when you can employ someone with a higher level skill set? So it makes it harder for people to actually get a job, because an employer is going to want a better list of skills, a little bit more experience. It's going to be much harder for your average person to get a job. So, because they're going to have to earn that money. Now, on top of that, the employer is going to want to have less employees, because that means they're going to have to pay less of their money out. So a lot of the time there are redundancies that are made because people can no longer afford that, which is going to increase what you actually have to do at work, because you're going to have to fill the roles of any employees that are being removed. There are certain different ways of dealing with this as well, such as hiring machines. We've seen a lot of this in McDonald's. So, for example, normal people who would be at a cash register have been replaced with machines, because it's a lot cheaper to have a machine there and have that machine being operational than to actually hire staff in order to do the job. So basically what you're doing is you're cutting down the job market, making it harder, increasing the levels of competition, all by raising the minimum wage. Now, on top of this, you've got the prices of goods and services go up. So you're starting to, so for example, whenever you buy a burger, whenever you get an avocado latte, whenever you do anything, go out and buy anything, chocolate bars, whenever you go to the gym, whenever you get goods and services, like whenever people come to a business like my business, which is digital media marketing, I have to increase my prices if I want to ever have an amount that I can hire someone reliably with. It causes a lot of low-level businesses. My business is not earning enough to actually hire a staff member. So even though it would be an incredibly easy job to do, I can't afford to hire a staff member because of the minimum wage costs. So there are numerous costs which happen, and when you consider the fact that your entire cost of living goes up, that's your rent, that's your gas, electricity, you've got, everything goes up, your petrol, your bus fares, absolutely everything is constantly going up, and this is happening because the minimum wage is going up and companies are having to keep people employed, because there are employment laws which basically enforce certain, especially in the UK, which enforce you to deal with things in a certain way. So it can be very, very challenging in order to maintain the amount of money when they're bumping the minimum wage up without increasing the cost of your goods and services by an incredible amount. So this is actually really, really bad, and it causes a massive inflation boom within the economy, and you will never gain back the amount which you're losing on the minimum wage. Let's say you've got a corner shop, and what they do is they increase the prices so that they will rise with the minimum wage, right? So let's say you increase the minimum wage by 10%, say, what have we got? We've got our chocolate bar that's £1, so that's £1.10, right? So we've got that, and the minimum wage goes up 10% as well. So say you're earning £5 an hour, you're now earning £5.50 an hour. Okay, so 10% increase there, you got a 10% increase in the chocolate bar. Well, on top of that, you've then got to add VAT. Now, VAT is one of the beautiful little crippling things which is tearing our society apart at the moment and causing considerable amount of damage to people. And we're having to deal with VAT being added on as well. So that's 20%. So you've got what a chocolate bar that's would be a £1.10 is now £1.31, let's say. I think it would be. Am I right? No. Yes, I am. It's about £1.31. It would be when you've added the VAT on to that chocolate bar. Okay, so basically you're having a much higher increase in the goods than the benefit you're actually getting from the minimum wage, and on top of that you're having to deal with paying more of your money in taxable income. So in order to deal with this, you're having to work longer shifts, harder shifts, because you're having less employees, and basically people are cutting down on products and services. Now, other things that they do as well is employee benefits. You're going to be losing employee benefits. Let's say you've got a company that's got health benefits and you've got other things. I mean, how many times when they've increased the minimum wage has it taken a couple of months and then you've gone and rewritten your contract with the employer and they've said, well, we're doing this to increase the minimum wage and you're going to get 5p more an hour, and it sounds like it's a really good idea, and you've just signed away your health benefits, you just signed away God knows what. All right, and the fact of the matter is, all of these little benefits that you're going to get, like things like stocks, shares in the company, they're all going to be completely and totally annihilated. So these are kind of some of the problems which you get when you're raising the minimum wage. Anyway, I've probably waffled on enough. There's a couple of other little minor things like sugar tax, etc., which get added on, as well as other little bonuses that you've got to pick up. And there are other little tariffs and things which appear, and they just generally sort of interlock and create this never-ending web of misery. But the thing is, when they increase the minimum wage, they're making things much harder for people who are on the bottom rung of society, and this is really troublesome, especially when you consider the fact that people who are on benefits in the United Kingdom, they are not getting those benefits increased in line with the minimum wage to the level which they need in order to survive properly. And when you consider the amount that housing prices are rising and the enforcement laws on housing that are in the UK at the moment, is a very rough market for people who are actually landowners and property owners, because they're having to deal with huge amounts of stress in terms of what they've got to do for their clients, so they're going to have to bump their prices up as well. It just makes people's life much harder. And people are wondering why you have to go out and work a considerable amount of money, a considerable amount of time in order to deal with it. And eventually you end up at a point like myself where I'm working 60 to 80 hours a week in order to make things work, because I've got a family to support, I've got a business to run, I've got a lot of different things to deal with. And the minimum wage is one of the biggest problems that comes back and impacts on your life, and it impacts on my life, and it impacts on everyone's life. It's one of those little promises that sounds really good, but it increases inflation by a horrible amount, mainly due to the combination of that, interlocking extra taxes, and the fact that they are not bumping up the amount of money which you can earn before tax in a good correlation with the minimum wage under certain forms of government. Now, under the Conservative government in the UK, we've seen consistent rises in what you can earn before taxable income. So they're actually throwing in ways to deal with increases in the minimum wage. But you will not see this under other forms of government. All you'll see is the numbers go up, but actually the numbers of everything else is going up. So what we need to do is try and bring the numbers down if we want society to work well. But you can't do that by increasing the minimum wage. And also, it makes it very hard. If you're someone who goes into a job, you're going to find it much harder to get a promotion within your job. You're going to find it much harder to earn more money. If you go to your manager and you say, oh, I want to, I think my services are worth a little bit more, I've been with the company a couple of years, they'll be like, yeah, well, it's very hard for us to say we can increase your money, because that's going to be really complicated. And then you've got a load of other different laws, rules and regulations which come into play there. So it's going to make it much harder for you to actually go out and earn yourself a proper decent living. So these are things which you should take into account when you get told, oh, the minimum wage is a really good idea, this is going to benefit you and it's going to help you. Anyway, I hope this video has been helpful. I don't really make a lot of content like this. If you like the video, you know, give it a like, talk about it. That's fine. I will try and get back to every single person that wants to talk to me about this, because it's a topic near and dear to my heart, even though it's not something I'm going to discuss regularly on the channel. I'm normally a composer. I write music for independent horror films, but I just thought I'd put it out there. This is going to be my video on the minimum wage, and to be honest, this isn't everything. There are other problems the minimum wage causes as well, but frankly, it's pointless just sitting there rattling and rattling and rattling every day. The best people to listen to about the minimum wage, if you're really interested in learning a bit more, are people like Milton Friedman and Thomas Sowell, because these are people who are seasoned economists who are not benefiting from, for example, certain political people coming into power. Let's say, for example, there are a large number of educators, people who are economics educators and professors of economics, who will say that you can make that raising the minimum wage is good, that all these positive things will happen, and that this is why you should vote for a certain form of government. And you should really look into the amount that they're going to be gaining in terms of grants and benefits from this, because they are literally selling out the people of this country. They're selling them out and lying to them repeatedly and saying that increasing the minimum wage is a good idea, and it is something which over time just destroys society, and we're seeing that every single day. Anyway, I hope this video has been slightly informative, not my usual sort of thing, but anyway, have a lovely day and thank you for checking it out. If you sat through to the end, I very much appreciate it. I'm sorry I'm going prematurely bald. Have a lovely day. Bye bye!